Hi everybody and welcome to another workout with FitBrand. My name is Brenna and I'm really happy that you're here today. This is a 20-minute glute workout, a glute focused workout. I designed this for either an activation before you're going to do a leg workout, or if you didn't have much time today and you were like, I just want to destroy my glutes, I feel like this is a very solid video. It's kind of Pilates inspired for you to do that. So I was thinking about what I wanted to chat about today, and I really just think I'm going to keep it relevant to my life. So I woke up this morning a little bit late because I had an in-person staff retreat this week with my work, and usually my work is remote. It's also 4 days a week, which is super nice. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I always get off. And this week I had to go into the office and interact with everyone. And to be honest, I just found myself super drained. I was also on my period, and it was just a lot of, interaction all in 1 week. But to be honest with you, I have been handling my period and the PMS symptoms quite well, acknowledging that my thoughts will try and trick me, that my anxiety is not real. And my partner once said this to me of like, Brenna, sometimes you just have to tell yourself, like, I am drunk, not actually drunk. Like, I am a drunk driver right now. Why am I trying to drive my vehicle? Like, sometimes when I've had super bad and anxious PMS symptoms, I try to like diagnose everything and work through it. And I'm also judging myself because I'm feeling a certain way. And I just end up getting myself into way more of a pickle. And my partner said to me, Brenna, sometimes you just have to acknowledge that you're not in the right frame of mind and you should just not trust your thoughts. And that's totally okay. It's not saying that you're not a trustworthy person. It just means my hormones and my body are trying to trick me right now. Maybe I don't need to freak out and start catastrophizing the way that I feel as if it's somehow reflective of the overall quality of my reality. So to be honest with you, wise words. And I've been trying to tell myself this week some self-care practices that I've really been trying to engage in to not allow my triggers to just like get the best of me is I have definitely been making an intention to meditate every single day on Headspace. No, this is not sponsored. But I've been making the intention every day to meditate in the morning for like maybe 10 minutes. I think one day I was able to do 20 minutes, and I found that spending that time with myself, just breathing and kind of tuning into the present moment, really helped me to set up my mind to be in a more like productive or positive place for the rest of the day. I also think I was cognizant to give myself mental checkups throughout the day, trying to tune into my breathing at random moments, to ask myself how I'm feeling, to try and become aware if I'm starting to feel a bit emotional, if I'm starting to feel a bit anxious. Like, not that I was actually problem solving anything, I just kind of made the intention to become aware of myself and what was going on. And I have said this to myself before, but somehow I just do it anyways, where my partner and I really love to watch reality shows with relationships. And to be honest, I really recommend doing this with your partner because I find that it stimulates so many interesting discussions and questions, especially when it comes to questions about like sexuality, fidelity, and infidelity for that matter, and what cheating means, and how to navigate like this very normal biological sexual attraction to other people, but you're in a monogamous relationship. For people that are wondering, like, we're in a monogamous relationship, but you know, we question it and we have conversations about it because freaking so many TV shows just play on that for couples, you know, whether it's The Ultimatum on Netflix where they match other couples, like they separate couples that weren't sure if they wanted to be together and they plop them with another couple. So you're navigating this like potential like tension where your partner wants to leave you for another person, or is your relationship going to be strong enough to handle the attraction and the emotional safety with another person, or Love is Blind, or Temptation Island, which is these people that are in relationships that go to this island, they become separated from their partner, they're put into a villa with a fuck ton of other singles, so they bring all of these singles in, and the singles' main job is to just tempt the people that are in relationships to really put the relationship to a test to see if it's strong enough or their partner is faithful enough. And it's super interesting. You see a lot of like human nature come out, but you also see so many couples that set themselves up for heartbreak because they're just not self-aware enough over what they want and the reasons why they do things. And also, I think couples don't have good enough conversations about the difference between like physical temptation and emotional connection and safety with another person, and not to start becoming like super binary in terms of like gender and men and women. But truth be told, there are some like biological and evolutionary differences between men and women. So it's just interesting to see how in these shows, women tend to opt or tend to crave more emotional safety with the singles that are men. Like, women don't really lead with sexuality, and obviously there are like cases where this is not the case. I'm just saying what I'm tending to see, and I'm by no means saying that like women have to be this way. No, it's just an observation where, and I'm also saying this because I definitely feel this way, where women tend to seek emotional safety and closeness with a male, and then she feels safe and free to open up physically and to be more open. Whereas for men, obviously this isn't the case. For them, they can lead more sexually, or they can have a lot of like sexual encounters with females that they don't know that well, but they can also be goofing with them, making jokes, having a good time, looking into their eyes, saying like, you know, I really like you, I think you're super cool. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the man is saying like, I want you to be my girlfriend, I'm gonna leave her for you. But the problem is that so many of these girls see their, because this is also the fucked thing, is that these girls now have to watch like clips of their boyfriends with these single girls, and vice versa. The guys also have to watch their girlfriends get close to the men, and it's super tough. Like, you feel really bad because people just cause themselves so much suffering, you know? And obviously TV shows are going to capitalize on this. But basically, back to my point is that these men are like very into these single girls, and it definitely seems on tape that they are forming an emotional connection with them, that they really like them. Like, one guy even gave this girl a necklace, and I was like saying to my partner, what the heck? I literally think that this guy likes her. Why would he be giving her a necklace? That obviously means something. I feel like that's super inappropriate. If we were in a me and my partner are in a relationship, but if we're together and you're out with your boys, let's say you go on a trip to Vietnam and you meet these really cool girls and you spend like an entire week with them, you're just vibing, you're chilling. I don't understand how you're not going to form an emotional connection with them. And then on top of that, if you give her a necklace, like, what the hell? That's super not okay. And we always do this for the exercise, not saying that he's now going to do this and go to Vietnam and give a girl a necklace, but he's like, but why? Like, why is that so bad, Brenna? What if this girl is genuinely just a cool person? And yes, I'm a dude. I do love women. Like, I really love women. You don't own me. And he's not saying that in a disrespectful way, and it's true for me as well. Like, he doesn't own me. He's still a human, a person, a whole person outside of this relationship, and part of his personality is that like he just loves like flirting, he loves women, he loves this aspect of being a human. And it's really tough because monogamous relationships, and I guess like traditional ideas of relationships, kind of put this value on relationships that you have to totally tame those things, and those things cannot coexist in a monogamous relationship. You now have to like shut off your desire for anybody else. You belong to your partner. You can't look at someone else. You can't hold this complexity of appreciating another human, being attracted to them, even like telling that person that you're really into them. It's like we find it so hard to hold this complexity that you can feel that thing for someone, and it also at the exact same time literally takes away nothing from your relationship. Doesn't mean that you love your partner less. Doesn't mean that now there's a space open in your partner's heart for that girl to sneak in. No, it's like you have the space in his heart. No one else is going to be taking it, and his attraction to this other woman literally doesn't mean that you're not good enough, that you're not a good enough partner, that you're not pretty enough, yada yada yada. It's a super interesting conversation. It's super triggering, to be honest. But I'm super grateful, super, Brenna, say super one more time. But I'm very grateful that we have these conversations because I actually feel like they bring up so many insecurities that I have within myself and so much discomfort that I have around this topic, because I'm like, well, no, like the rules say, or you can't do this because it's wrong, because that means something more. And he's like, but how does it mean something more? It doesn't mean something more for me. You're telling me that it means something more based on your perspective and based on the way that you value, like for an example, giving a gift of like a necklace to somebody. And Temptation Island plays on this so much, where they show partners clips, or they show people clips of their partners engaging with these singles of the opposite sex. And obviously all of those images are going to be interpreted through the perspective of the person watching. They're not going to take into account who their partner is, how their partner acts, what these things might mean for them, because honestly, maybe they've never had these conversations before in their relationship. So, I mean, it's fair. All they can go off of is their values, their worldviews, and their perspectives. But it causes so much suffering because you're suffering at the hands of your beliefs. And I genuinely feel like we get into so many issues like this in so many other realms of conversations because we continually put on the world our understanding of how things work, forgetting that it's not reality and forgetting that it's a perspective, which means that it's inherently biased based on our lived experiences and our traumas and our triggers and the way we were raised and the cultural system that we were grown up in, that we were raised in, etc. And something that I have always thought about myself is that I'm quite an open-minded person. I like to really take into account other people's perspectives. I do really like to unlearn and learn things in a different way so that I can be more open. For me, it's really important to be objective about life because I think I will suffer so much less. All of my insecurities that I have are so purely subjective. They are not objective truths. People walking down the street are not like, oh, Brenna is unworthy, she's not attractive, she is not intelligent enough, she's not capable enough to start a YouTube career, she is not creative enough, blah, 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 blah. None of those things are objective truths. I tell myself that based on my lived experiences, based on the traumas that I experienced with people, getting bullied in school, having issues with boys, outsourcing my sense of validation to boys, my parents, the world, whatever, you know? I have done that to myself, but therefore I am the one that suffers at the hands of my narratives. And I think that it can be a very, very uncomfortable journey. I know it's a very uncomfortable journey to confront the fact that you live your life based on perspectives and not necessarily reality, because opening yourself up to looking at those things and potentially changing means like taking the rug from underneath your feet, means like totally destabilizing this maybe fallacy of a foundation that you've lived most of your life on. But I would argue, what type of life do you want to live? Do you want to live a life with the wool over your eyes, or do you want to have your eyes wide open about who you are, about what your values are, about what you want? And I mean, to be honest, this sounded like an impactful statement, and then I didn't have another sentence to end it. But essentially, you get my gist. And I'm not saying that my partner is right about everything and that now, and he's also not saying that relationships need to be open and that everyone should be polyamorous. No, of course, monogamy exists for a reason. There's a really good YouTube documentary series. I'm gonna have to double check. I think it might be by Vox, and it unpacks monogamy, and it's very, very, very good. And I'm by no means saying that my partner is right about all of these things, but his perspective has definitely enriched mine, and it's made me question the relationship beliefs that I have, to the point where yes, I understand what he's coming from. I understand where he's coming from. If I met somebody and I was respectful of my relationship and I knew that they would not be a threat to the love and the security that me and my partner have, that there's nothing wrong with if I really felt it, giving that person a gift, not to be like, oh, this is like my soul and I really hope that you think of me and know that we're gonna meet each other again one day, we're destined to be with each other. That's just the way I think about these things. I automatically just like assume that that's what my partner would mean if he were to give a girl a necklace, whereas my partner's like, no, I might not even care about this necklace, or like I might just think that this person's cool, so I want her to have it. Like, hey, take it. You know? And for him, it means something completely different. So I think this is just a very good reminder for us to be curious about things, to take a step back from our emotional reactions to situations, and to allow ourselves to be destabilized, but also to give ourselves a lot of compassion and a lot of grace, and also to be there for ourselves during this period of time of like, okay, buddy, you're going through a period of unlearning, super scary, super uncomfortable. We don't like all of the ghosts that are coming out of the closet right now because we thought that they were gone. But this is clearly showing us that we are not healed and that we are quite triggered humans, actually. And you know what? We are going to engage with these ghosts. We are really going to chat with them, understand where they're coming from, and then we're going to set them free. We're going to take them out of the house. We're going to let them leave from the window. I don't know what I'm saying, but essentially, like, I feel as though these types of conversations and conversations that question your beliefs, especially when they're kind of like societally imposed, of course, I totally understand why people believe that infidelity or looking elsewhere outside of your relationship is bad, because I think a lot of people in this life are not self-aware, and so they act out of this lack of self-awareness, and they end up hurting the people that they love. They end up being deceitful, they end up being not integral, and they cause a lot of harm and damage. So I am in no way, shape, or form like condoning that behavior, saying that it's okay. This is for people that are self-aware and that know themselves, which, to be honest, like, there's not that many people, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, it's just kind of the truth. And we need to be able to encourage this like plasticity in terms of how people understand themselves, and we need to encourage this journey for people to really reach deep within themselves to get to know themselves better, because a lot of these dudes on the show, I'm sure, not having been a dude, you know, so I can't for sure say that I know these things, but these guys, I bet you, don't think that these girls are going to replace their girlfriends at the other house on the other side of the island. I'm sure they're attracted to them. I'm sure these girls are fun. I'm sure they're like, I would do some very nice things to you, and they probably do, you know, but I don't think that now their hearts are open and they're like, wow, you are the love of your life. Whereas like for women, because it's so important to feel emotionally safe, to feel secure, and to feel seen, that if you're receiving that like attention and that understanding from a guy, like that can feel quite rocking, because you're like, wow, the thing that I want the most in my life is for someone to see me, to really get me and make me feel like I am loved and accepted and I am safe. And I'm not necessarily saying that it's like easier for women to be swayed. I just mean that like women look for that emotional safety in order to open up that physical aspect, whereas like men, I think, disclose that emotional safety later. Like that's more of like a girlfriend kind of like gift, you know? And I'm not saying that men cannot be emotionally, God, how complex this conversation is. I feel like I have to give disclaimers all the time, you know? But I'm not trying to say that men can't give themselves emotionally to a woman in a non-girlfriend way. They can, but I think the depth upon which they do it is different. And so all of this to say that the dudes on Temptation Island, when they are enjoying their time with these single girls, they're not like now getting moved in their hearts and about to leave their girlfriends. Some might. And genuinely, I think it's because they become confused of like, how could I possibly be feeling this thing for this other girl that's not my girlfriend? Well, clearly there's an issue in my relationship and there's something wrong with it, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That might very well be true. I think the important thing to point out is that a lot of times these like issues in relationships arise when people are with partners that don't fulfill all of their needs. I think the through line throughout this entire conversation is like, in order for what I'm saying to be true about like having security in a relationship and knowing that someone is not going to threaten your relationship, even if they're attracted to someone else, even if they maybe like physically do something or give them a necklace, that those things are contingent on the fact that you know that you are very satisfied with your relationship, that you have similar values and you don't feel like there is something missing. Like, I'm very lucky to feel completely satisfied in all of the important areas that I want in a partner with my current partner, and I know that he feels the same way for me. I also know that he's an incredibly self-aware person, and I also know that I am in my self-awareness journey, that I think we know ourselves well enough that when we say something to one another, we really mean it, and we have the skills to continue to know ourselves in this lifetime, and that if something changes, we'll communicate about it. So these are obviously skills for people that have been engaging in their personal growth journey, and maybe like going on a show like this and fucking like blowing up your relationship is just a really good call out for you to start your personal development and your personal awareness journey. And I know that we're running out of time because this workout is almost done, but I would love to carry on this conversation in another video because it's a huge one. I can't possibly discuss all of this in 21 minutes, but I think that's the important takeaway, is like being in a relationship that is like satisfying your needs, that you genuinely know has what you want in a partner and you don't feel like there's a lack, that is really important in terms of being able to feel satisfied and committed to your relationship regardless of your like attraction to other people. Always treating your relationship with respect and dignity like it deserves. Thank you for listening to this episode. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know how you like this workout. Let me know what you would like to see more of. If you could like this video, subscribe to the channel. I really want to continue these conversations and continue to grow the Fit Brand community. See you in the next workout.